All right, welcome to the week two forum. This week we are looking at the founding and the Constitution. The main thing we're looking at initially is this idea of what caused us. I think it's somewhat uh, misleading to describe the independence movement as the first founding, but we'll go with it. What were the things that caused the colonists to seek independence? A lot of it had to do with sort of resistance to British taxation, and also British sort of increasing attempts to control colonial interests in ways that they had not previously. One of the things that happened with British colonization was they really let the American colonies create their own distinctive political culture over the span of four generations. Um, and their increasing efforts to assert control increasingly radicalized the colonists. And so, effectively, we ended up in a fairly long conflict with a major European power. Somehow, we were able to win, um, and that created sort of our first attempt at a national government. So, what were the problems with the Articles of Confederation? Well, first of all, it was a confederation. Confederations basically allow the states to retain sovereignty, where the overarching government is mainly just sort of advisory, and so it really has no power. There were a rising number of conflicts between the states. There were rising fears that outside powers, especially England, was likely to begin attempting to play divide and conquer games within the colonies. The British, for example, refused to see one, kind of American diplomat and said, "We'll deal with the states individually," and that sent a signal to them. The main key that led to the Constitutional Convention, or I think many historians believe this was an important reason, was Shays' Rebellion, which again was started out as sort of a tax revolt in Massachusetts. Uh, Ground on for quite a while. Massachusetts was ultimately compelled to hire a private army to put the rebellion down. And that really kind of highlighted and drove home for American political elites of the day that they needed to have a more coherent government. And so that led to the Constitutional Convention of 1787, where they negotiated a very innovative doctrine that is our Constitution to this very day, with some significant modifications. So the Constitution created a central government that had powers, but also had sharp limits on powers. You had a legislative branch, an executive branch, and a judicial branch. There were a number of principles embodied in the latter articles of the Constitution. Article 4 has a number of really important clauses within it, the full faith and credit clause and the privileges and immunities clause, that were designed to basically, first of all, permit freedom of movement between and among the states, and also to maximize the ability of the American economy to expand. Uh, Ratification, we often look at and say, well, yeah, they won. They had an argument, they won. It was a very closely fought campaign, and both sides got significant concessions, and it really established an important, kind of principle reflecting the need for compromise within this governing system. So the Federalists ultimately won the debate and got the Constitution ratified, but the Anti-Federalists got the Bill of Rights, which guaranteed individual rights that were considered very important. I think that the chapter's discussion of the amendment process is very interesting. I think the fact is that the Constitution reflects our higher law. It reflects the fact that these are things that we don't change at a whim, right? These are the things. This is the rule book. We play by the rules. We compete within the rules, and to the victor, go the accolades. So I think this is a very important chapter. As always, I'm looking for areas where you're struggling. What are some parts of this chapter that you're having difficulty understanding? What do you think is most important? What do you think? What do you disagree with? What would you like to see changed? For me, I would like to see a constitutional amendment guaranteeing equal access to the vote. I think that we had the Voting Rights Act. It has effectively been gutted. I think that there are many states that are clearly engaging in attempts to suppress the votes of other Americans. I think that's wrong, and I think that we should. I think that absolutely we should prevent fraud, but I don't think that the laws that are circulating around right now are really, attempts to prevent fraud. I think they don't work. I think they are designed to stop Black people and Asian Americans and Hispanics from voting, and I think that's wrong. So take me on if you disagree. If you think that voter fraud is some horrible thing that's happening, and that Donald Trump lost because of millions of people casting illegal ballots, let me know. Let me hear about it. I'm willing to argue with you. I'm willing to keep an open mind. Nevertheless, so anyway, I hope we have a great week. So enjoy read it carefully. And let's have a good discussion.